What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today we're going to talk about a very serious topic. Hits that go down in California state prisons. Specifically level 4. In California, we have 2 security levels as far as level 4s. Level 4 is the highest security prison that we have in California. And within the level 4, we have the 180 design level 4s and the 270 design level 4s. The difference between the two is 180 design is the highest security. 180 design basically means the degrees in the section from wall to wall where the cop has an eyesight, right? Or at least the degrees to the shape. So in a 270 building, you walk into the building, there's no walls between the sections. You can look around and it's like we say a horseshoe, but it's not rounded. It's squared, right? You can walk in and you can turn to the left and you can see A section. In front of you is B, and to the right would be C. If you go into a 180 design prison, you walk into a unit, you walk in and you see a slider. And that's usually going to be C section. They have to open that door in order for you to get into that section. Or you turn to the left and you go, and then you'll see another door, and that goes into B section, and all the way to the left would be A section. Next to A section door would be the shoe yard, the concrete yard. And each section is walled off. You can't go into A section and look over to B section. You can't see anything but A section. So it's more restrictive. There's less movement, less action for you to get into other sections. Okay. The 180 design level 4s are known as the shoe kickout yards. If you stab somebody in prison, if you killed somebody in prison, if you broke a serious rule in prison and you went and had to do a shoe term, either in Pelican Bay, Corcoran, or Tehachapi, when you were released, you had to go to 180 design prison. And you had to do 3 years on a 180 design prison just in order to hit a 270 design prison. Or if some crazy way your points were able to drop to a level 3, then you can go to a level 3 after you do your 3 years on a level 4 180. When I speak on here, I can't speak for the whites, the northerners, the blacks, the others. I only know my experience, right? And I can say that for southerners, southern raza, southern Mexicans getting out of the shoe, it is nearly impossible to do 3 years without getting a write-up and hitting a 270 yard. Is it possible? It is, but it is damn near impossible because there's always something to do there, you know. And Southerners, it's frowned upon for Southerners to get petty write-ups. It's a bad look. If you get a write-up, you want it to be for something serious. In that world, that is a better reflection of you and who you are. That you don't get caught up in petty bullshit. If you're going to get busted for something, it's going to be something worth it. It's going to carry a shoe term, right? A lot of the 180 design prisons, when you hit those yards, most of the guys there are what we refer to as being tipped up. These are usually tipped up, meaning they have connections, or they're in direct contact, or they're specifically working as a soldado, as a soldier for somebody. And so these yards are the most serious you're going to be on, other than the shoe. Pelican Bay shoe was the most serious because of who was there. But you hit a 180, and this was back before they let everybody out of the shoe. You had dudes there that were the eyes, the ears, the hands, the feet, the mouthpiece for some very heavy people, right? So now, when we get to doing hits on these yards, doing hits in prison period, but we're going to speak specifically on these level 4, 180, very serious yards. When an issue comes up, somebody approaches the table and says, hey, I need to talk to you guys. And they let us know either through their word or through some type of paperwork or something. Hey, this vato that just got here, this is what's up with them. There's other instances where people will land, and they'd always land on the fish tank. And when they land on the fish tank, they got to kick out their paperwork. And their paperwork gets sent to whoever's in leadership position. They go over it. They run the name, make sure it's not on a list. They make sure that nobody in a position of authority there knows anything bad about the individual. And if there's nothing that comes up in that first initial investigation, he's fine. He'll be on the yard, and, then we may have a situation where somebody approaches the table, as I was saying, and says, hey, Holmes, look, I need to talk to you guys, eh? Okay. And they'll let us know, like, hey, look, Holmes, I was in this yard with this vato that just got here, and he didn't participate, or there was a question mark, and I don't know if the investigation was clear, but this is who was involved in that investigation. And they drop it on our laps. And if you're in a position of authority, that's a main part of your job. The safety and security of who you run with is paramount, because your people have to be able to make money. Your people have to be able to conduct business. And so when people come who may become a threat to that business, they have to be removed. They have to be eradicated. They have to go somewhere else, and they have to go violently. So when an issue arises, the dudes running the yard are going to discuss it. And depending on what it is, we may have to send somebody. And this was before cell phones became prevalent. With the use of cell phones, it's different, and I'm not going to get into that. But prior to that, it may be a case where we have to send somebody to a courthouse and find out certain things through that means. Other cases, it may be where we would have to contact someone to contact whoever was involved, other homies that were involved in investigating this individual. If you know a specific legend that was involved in it, you get at him. If there's a legend whose name is brought up, you get directly at him. But 9 times out of 10, when somebody is touched, as far as the Southerners, when somebody is touched, there has been a thorough investigation done. And all T's have been crossed, all I's have been dotted. Because if you do a hit and it's wrong, there's going to be a payback. There's going to be retribution. Somehow, some way. Does that mean that every hit that goes down is legit? Absolutely not. Because we're talking about men. We're talking about men that have ego. Men that have maybe had nothing in their entire life. And now they have this authority. And so you would have some that are psychopaths or egomaniacs. And those were guys that you really had to be very wary of. And they were usually weeded out. But how many people would be hurt before they get weeded out? I can say that I have definitely heard personally somebody lands on a yard and vatos don't like him, guys don't like him, and they're like, that vato works for so-and-so, but him, he's a bitch, eh? We should just whack him. If we whack him, he'll lock it up, if he lives. And I've only heard that a couple times. And when I heard it, I put in my 2 cents immediately. What kind of shit is that? You know, I let him know that shit ain't happening. Like, he's connected. We don't just hit motherfuckers, you know. I don't know. I was just never somebody who was quick to step on somebody else's neck so I can get higher up. I never believed in that. Even then, when I was at my worst, I believed in karma. If somebody has it coming, they're going to get it. And I was never one to jump the gun. I always gave them enough room to where when they got hit, there was no coming back. It's the worst thing to have somebody hit and they're able to clean it up. And they're going to be concentrated on you. Even though they're not in the same joint, they're going to be building. They're going to be working. They're going to have that motivation, that drive to excel in that world and get to know more and more legends and try to build themselves up and build up enough to where they can go at you from a prison 300 miles away. You know, and I've seen it. Dudes let that power go to their head. And they think they hit a dude and yeah, he didn't lock it up. He didn't die. But fuck him. He ain't around us. And the whole time he's building. He's getting stronger. He's networking. He's putting himself in a position where when he asks for a favor, it's probably gonna get okayed. California prisons are so damn treacherous. Today's homie is tomorrow's main rival. I've said this a bunch of times, man. I used to go to Yard. And the dudes I was closest with, like my crew, dudes that I knew no matter what, they're going to go to the dirt with me. I would tell them, hey, don't get butthurt if I don't hang out with you on the Yard. If I shake your hand and bounce. The reason why is because you and I, we're on the same page. We know where we stand with each other. I'm going to hang out on the Yard with the vatos that I know are plotting on my downfall. And so that's what I would do. And we would sit there across from each other on the tables. And we would laugh at each other's jokes. Tell funny stories. Bullshit. And we both knew if you slip, you're done. You know, I make these videos, man, because I understand why people gangbang. I understand why people get, you know, a lifestyle addiction or a substance addiction or an alcohol addiction. And it leads them down a certain path. I can't knock that, man. I can't. I do these stories, man, just to try to let you know. As long as you're out here, homes, you have a chance. Once you get behind those walls, I don't care who you are. You're going to have to mind somebody. Your petty feelings don't matter. You as an individual don't matter. So if there's some stuff out here that you don't like being told what to do, or you don't like your boss, go to prison. You're going to be surrounded by people who are very hateful, very evil, very violent. And they don't give a damn whether you like them or not. Anyways, that's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.